Hello guys. Happy Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. I hit live before I was ready, but that's okay. Anyways, so I wanted to hop on and do a quick little training on pricing. I've been talking to a lot of people about pricing and how to do it the right way and how to make sure it's profitable and all these questions. So I wanted to hop on and kind of talk about how to price yourself correctly. The answer is not guess. The answer is not throw spaghetti at the wall and hope that it's a good price. There's actually a really good strategy behind how to price yourself. So obviously, if you are a service-based business versus a product-based business, there's going to be a little bit of a different structure. But at the end of the day, you still need to have the same information and you still kind of have the same basis for how you price yourself. So this is an exercise that I take my clients through. It's not something that's like quick and easy, right? Like it's not just like a quick mathematical calculations, right? There's a series of steps that I take my clients through. It's a little bit of work on the front end, but it guarantees you that your prices, whatever you price yourself now and in the future, is always going to be profitable, right? It's always going to factor in profitability into your business, because biggest mistake that I see entrepreneurs, business owners making is their pricing is way too freaking low. I've had lots of conversations with people and they've told me their prices and I'm like, what? And I really want to tell people, but you know, at the end of the day, like, I don't know, sometimes I want to tell people like, your prices are way too freaking low. Like you need to double that stuff. But most people are afraid to. A, they think people won't pay it. B, they think people can't afford it. And my answer to both of those is neither one of those things are any of your business, right? It's not up to you. You cannot decide. You cannot figure out what people can afford. You don't know what people will pay until you create a price, right? Don't think about it and don't ask the question like, here's this, how much would you pay for it? I've made that mistake before. People are like, I don't know, $5. And you're like, I can't do this for $5. And then you don't do it. And then that was just not a good question to ask, right? Because nobody's gonna be like, I pay $1 million for that, right? Nobody's gonna do that. So pricing can be a little bit tricky, but if you know how to do it correctly, then it's easy. Then you build out whatever your product is, whatever your service is, and you apply this method that I teach my clients, and I'm gonna talk about it on this training video, right? Okay, so when it comes to pricing, if you're watching, hey Marsha, if you're watching, let me know what you struggle with when it comes to pricing. Is it just like, I don't even know where to begin? What specifically is your struggle? So let's dive into how I teach my clients how to price themselves for profit, right? Most people price themselves for everything but profit. They think it's because, well, this is what I think people will pay, or this is what it's, you know, what it's worth. But usually we up here are assigning a really low worth, right? A really low worth to what we're offering because we are too close to it, right? I have clients and I've had people that I've talked to that are like charging these prices and I'm like, it's no wonder people are bailing it on you because they're not taking it seriously. You know, if you're charging your prices based on hourly rates, I would not do that anymore. Hourly rates are kind of a thing of the past. I don't charge hourly rates anymore except for certain circumstances, right? So Marsha said that's where I'm at, where to begin. Okay, I'm gonna tell you. So the very first thing that you need to do is you need to map out all of your business expenses and your personal expenses, okay? That is the first step in what I call, when I use a tool, okay? I use what's called a money map. I've designed it myself. It is a kind kind of a goal planning tool. It's not an accounting system or anything like that. But it is meant to help you create financial goals for your business and your personal life. And so it's kind of like a planning tool. Anyways, so what we do in there is step number 1 is we figure out all of our costs for our business and all of our expenses in our personal life. And then we get a little crazy and we add in all of our wants, our desires, and we assign a dollar value to them, right? So at the end of all this exercise, it spits out a number to us, and it says, in order to achieve all of these things in your business, operate your business, run your household, pay all your personal expenses, this is the dollar amount that you need to cover, right? So that is step number 1. You can make a list of all your business expenses, your personal, throw in all the things that you want, true, right? Because we want to price for profitability, which means we want to price for growth, right? We don't want to price just enough to pay the bills. We are not at just paying the bills. We are seeking above just paying the bills, right? This is a trap a lot of business owners fall into, is they charge prices that are just enough to pay the bills. And that ain't gonna cut it anymore. We're probably experiencing a little bit that right now. Just paying the bills ain't gonna work anymore, right? Am I right? So you have that number, right? You have your personal expenses, you have your business expenses, all your wants, needs, and desires kind of factored in there. You could be conservative and you can pony step this up a little bit over time. Obviously, you can't go from 0 to millionaire in 1 hour. Doesn't usually work that way. So next, you want to have all those things in there. And then what I encourage my clients to do is add in a cap, add in a percentage to that number for profit, right? And that is your discretion what you do with. Add 5%, add 10%, add 20%. Add a percentage of profit to that total dollar figure, right? Personal expenses and business expenses. Build in a big cushion, right? Then you have to factor in how much taxes do I need to pay? Because this, again, is another mistake that business owners make. They forget on their pricing, they have to pay taxes. They forget, I'm gonna charge $40 an hour, but 20% of that, guys, is probably gonna go to taxes. Right off the top, you lose 20% of what you are charging. Remember that. I see so many people that at the end of the day, they're like, my pricing's really good, but I'm broke. It's like, did you save for taxes? And they're like, no. It's a problem, right? So factor in an estimated amount that you would have to pay for taxes. 18% is a really conservative number. It's kind of like what I use. Everybody's taxes are gonna be different. There's no hard and fast rule for that. So add in that. So it's like we're working with we're making a cake, right? We're stirring in, we've got our business expenses, we've got our personal expenses, we got all of our sprinkles, the wants and the needs, and all of our desires in our life and our business, our vacation funds in there, hiring an assistants in there, all the good stuff is in there, all the things that we want in our business. And we're just stirring that up, right? Throw in some taxes, throw in some extra profit, and we're stirring, right? So now we've got this batter, right? And this is what we have to play with. So we're take this number that we have to play with, and then we're gonna divide this out by the hours that we're gonna work a month. And we're gonna do our cake batter is based on a monthly basis. Okay, so we're working with the month here. And then we say, you know what, we're gonna work with clients, directly, indirectly. And if you're a product-based business, you can factor in how much time it's gonna take you to create the product, bring it to market, those types of things. And then you're gonna say, I'm gonna work about 120 hours a month in my business, right? In my business, on my business, all up in my business, right? 120 hours, that's it. Those are the 120 hours you wanna get paid for, okay? And I'm talking about answering emails. I'm talking about social media marketing. I'm talking about setting up and onboarding your clients, not just direct client or product selling, right? Factor in every minute that you are going to devote to your business. Obviously, this is not a perfect formula. Shit changes. I get it. This is a baseline we're working with. This is not perfect, right? But this is a good baseline to work with. Wouldn't you agree? Because we've got all the goods in there. We've got the profit, we've got the expenses, we've got the taxes, we've got everything in there, right? Then we take, we're gonna work 120 hours roughly in a month. What is that? 30 hours a week? Terrible at math, right? So I have a spreadsheet right here, guys. So we're like, I'm gonna work about 30 hours a week, right? Idealistically. So we take that percentage, not percentage, because we have, say we have $10,000 that we wanna get paid for, right? And then we divide that by the number of hours we're actually gonna work, and what we come up with is a baseline, not exact science, a baseline internal price rate, right? Internal hourly rate. That's not where you're gonna charge people necessarily, okay? And this is for you, this is for your information only. This is not for you to share with clients and say, I charge X amount of dollars. No, that's not what we're doing. This is to help you internally in your business say, I am not gonna charge anything less than this dollar amount, right? And I did this exercise with my client. She did most of the work, and then I came in and I helped her figure out how to price a program that she's about to launch next month, right? So we figured out her internal rate, and she was like, okay, yeah, that's like, it's X amount of dollars, which is kind of on the low side. And I'm like, you need to work in some more wants and needs and desires in your business. So I said, let's take that price, because if we charge people that rate, they're not good. It's too low. Let's triple it, maybe quadruple it. What do you think? She was like, can I do that? Of course you can do that. Yes, you can do that. So you take that internal, this is not for anybody's business but your own, and you apply that to what you are doing. And you say, okay, for example, you have a client that is going to, you want to have a package, right? A service-based package for 4 months that is going to take you about 10 direct hours a month to help this client. And then probably like 5 to do indirect stuff, like maybe answer some questions, or you want to allocate some extra time into that to maybe build some content around the things that you're working on, etc., etc. You build that how you want to. You want to make sure you get paid for every single minute you spend with that client, thinking about that client, building an extra hour for when you dream about that client. Whatever works for you, right? So you build all of that in, right? And so then you say, okay, it's going to be like 10 total hours a month. This is my internal hourly rate is $100, and you're going to spend 10 hours with that client a month, and you've got your little cushion built in there, right? So it's like what, $1,000? Did I say that right? $100 an hour, 10 hours. Yeah, so $1,000. Sorry, I can't remember what my internal hourly rate was. That is $1,000. At minimum, I want you charging that client $1,000 a month. No exceptions, right? You don't dip below that unless you have a wildly more profitable, because sometimes we have what's called a loss leader. Like, we do certain things because it's going to lead to more profit later on, right? That's outside the scope of this training. We could go on for days with that. So you take this internal rate, right? And then you apply it, and that is your minimum baseline. But you don't tell your clients this. You don't tell your clients, I'm charging you $100 an hour. You don't tell people that. People don't want to hear that. They freak out when they find out how much you charge them at hourly rate. But at minimum that you are profitable, you're paying your taxes, you're paying your business expenses, you're paying your mortgage, you're buying food for your family, and you have profit built into that price. Boom. Okay? This is not a perfect science, and there's lots of ways that you can maneuver this And then what you do from there, you have this pricing. Now you get to make sales goals that you can actually achieve, right? Instead of going, I'm gonna charge $47 for this and hopefully I'll become a millionaire. It don't work that way, right? You have to make sure your sales goals, your pricing, and all the things in between are speaking the same language. This is a big problem. Business owners fail to know the language that each of these things speak, right? This is why every time I do this exercise, this whole process, right? This whole money mapping process with my clients, we do this in a series of steps, right? And I train you and I teach you so that in the future, 3 years from now, you're still using the same methodology, the same model. It's simple, it's easy. People are freaking loving it. It is my money map training. And I have really great testimonials on it, okay? So this is a problem that people are missing. They are not knowing how to price themselves. They're missing the profit, they're missing the taxes, they're missing the desires and the wants and all the needs in their business. They're just going, I think this is what somebody's gonna pay, right? And it does not work that way. They are missing, and then they try to set sales goals and then they don't meet those sales goals because they're not even attainable. So, because they don't factor in their pricing and like figure out if they can even make that much money, right? Now, here's kind of, I have 2 bonus tips, right? One is, remember, you are not a freaking employee. I don't care if you are in the corporate world, you're making $40 an hour based on your salary. That is not what you make as a business owner. As a business owner, you should at minimum be tripling that amount, if not more, right? When I stepped out of my role as a CFO, I quadrupled that just to start off with, right? Just to start off with, because you're paying taxes, you're paying business expenses, you're doing all kinds of things. And as a business owner, you get the luxury of building profit into your pricing, and nobody gets to tell you how you can price yourself. Now, I know here's tip number 2, right? Because people are gonna go, but Shauna, you have to do market research to see what people will pay. Yes. However, you do that second. You do this exercise first, because here's the thing. If you find out that at minimum you need to charge $1,000 for this service to be profitable, and if you test the market and find out people are only gonna pay $200, guess what? You're gonna find something else to do. You're not gonna waste your time knowing that you can't be profitable with the market, right? And I can almost guarantee you that none of that stuff's gonna matter. When you build a brand for yourself and you build a reputation in your business, people will pay your prices because you are positioning yourself. If you're positioning yourself correctly as an expert, people are gonna be like, take my money, please take my money, right? And so I would not put a whole lot of stock into the market research part of it. Yes, you are going to start off with one price and you're gonna go up and up and up and up, right? You should be raising your prices continuously. At some point, you may get more pushback, like, holy smokes, that price is really high. But guys, like, I have seen business coaches, their prices are like $17,000, and like, I personally wouldn't pay that, but there's lots of people that would, right? So it's all about, especially if you're a service-based business, it's all about positioning, right? It's all about branding and how you position yourself, right? So don't get in this whole like, well, the market says I'm only gonna get a certain amount. Screw the market. You do you, right? You do you and figure out what works for you and your business. Now, if you can't sell anything at all, maybe just get some feedback from a couple of people. You're always gonna get people that say, that's way too high. You could charge $90 for something. And people are like, oh, that's so high. Because there's a lot of people out there with mindset issues. Don't let their mindset issues affect your pricing, okay? So that is pricing. I know that was a lot of information, but this is what it takes to build profitable prices. Not throwing spaghetti at the wall, not guessing, not wondering, not asking people how much they would pay. Those are the wrong questions to ask. You have to financially build a price that is profitable and supporting your business growth. Otherwise, you might as well not even do it. So this is what I help walk my clients through this process. So if you have any questions, if you have any feedback about this video, if you're like, wait, what did you mean about this? Let me know in the comments and I'll circle back around to answer some questions. Yeah, and if you ever want to see how this works, working with me as a client, feel free to send me a message or you can leave a comment and we can kind of jump on a Zoom call and, you know, maybe when all this lets up and you're local, maybe we can meet for coffee or something like that because I'm dying to get out of this house. Anyways, so that is pricing. It is not just some quick and easy. It can be some quick and easy thing once you kind of build your money foundation, right? And this is why knowing your numbers, right, is super important, and you can't skip this part, right? You have to know financially these things in your business. Otherwise, you're constantly gonna be swimming, you're gonna be broke all the time, and you're gonna be like, why don't I have any money? Well, it's because you're not priced for profit, and it's gonna keep you frustrated. So let's not do that, okay? All right, guys, let me know if you have questions. Thanks for hopping on. Hey, Michelle. Talk to you guys later.